Hardly anyone talks about the kind of grief where the person you love is still physically alive, but gone in a way that just breaks your heart in slow motion. Now, I learned from psychologists that it's called ambiguous grief. It's the pain of loving someone who's still here, but they're unreachable because of either mental illness, addiction, dementia, emotional distance, or choices that you shut out. You don't get closure. You don't get answers. That's a heavy kind of heartbreak because your heart just keeps hoping for a comeback while your mind is begging for peace. You're just left standing unsure which direction to lean. It's excruciating when love isn't enough to bring them back to themselves. And you can keep your heart open without carrying the burden of fixing them. I know it's easier said than done. Love does not always mean proximity. Sometimes it means peace and prayer from afar. You could miss them and accept reality. You could love them and protect yourself. You can hope and let go. You see, grief doesn't have to always be tidy. It just has to move through you. It has to go through you. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck. You have to speak over yourself. And what I know from all the counseling and even my own personal situations, I've come to realize that Black families often carry layers of unspoken pain and trauma and dysfunction that we've been taught how to survive and not feel. We learn how to get numb. We've been told to pray about it, be strong, don't talk about family business. But you see, the silence and the shame does not heal what's breaking your heart. So what I say is, I'm grieving someone who's still alive. Now that truth needs a voice, and you cannot heal by losing yourself. And in many Black families, grief itself is often layered with unspoken trauma, survival conditioning, and cultural expectations to be strong. Don't air the family business. What goes in the house stays in the house. Keep praying, and they'll just come around. You got to love them no matter what. But those beliefs can keep you trapped in a toxic loyalty, staying emotionally entangled in a pain that's destroying your peace. Ambiguous grief asks you to do the hardest thing. It's asking you to keep your heart open while accepting reality. It's asking you to honor love while protecting your peace. It's asking you to forgive without returning to the chaos. And I've dealt with so many, and I know that the nurturing spirit wants to rescue, to reason, and to fix. Been there. And when you carry someone else's chaos for too long, your nervous system begins to live in a survival mode. Your chest is tight, shallow breathing, racing thoughts, high blood pressure, no sleep. And your mind is just looping and looping and looping. And your body is saying, you can't save them. Save yourself at the same time. You just can't do both of them at the same time. It's like an emotional roller coaster. And this type of grief, dealing with someone who's still alive, whether it's dementia or whether it's someone who's difficult or someone who's mentally challenged, it can make you feel some sense of guilt because you're wanting some distance or you're not able to fix them, and so you feel guilty. Or you feel angry because you're grieving someone who's still breathing and maybe they're difficult, maybe it's stressful. Or this emotional roller coaster brings about so much confusion between what society calls real grief tied to death. And this emotional roller coaster can have you going back and forth between hope and heartbreak. And it's like back and forth, back and forth. You got hope, and then your heart is breaking. And then you got hope, and then your heart is breaking. And you find yourself waiting for the phone to ring or checking social media for signs of life or replaying old memories, trying to find, a turning point. It's an invisible kind of suffering. one that drains your nervous system because it never fully resolves. Life doesn't always look like rescuing. That's what I thought for so long. Sometimes it just looks like releasing. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. Love does not always look like rescuing. Sometimes it looks like releasing and surrendering to a reality that is difficult to sit with. It's okay to love someone from a distance, with boundaries, with prayer and compassion. You can grieve them and still live your life. You can pray for their healing and still choose peace. You can love them deeply and still protect your boundaries. And that's not being cold, it's being conscious. You're allowed to heal even if they don't. You're allowed to keep becoming even while they are unraveling. And that doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you've started loving yourself. Ooh, let me tell you, I know that ache, that quiet, invisible kind of grief that lingers when you lose someone who's still alive, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. It's a heartbreak that doesn't have a name. And because of that, you start looking for ways to numb it. I lost one son to death. It was final, no answers, and it's an ache that has no name. And then when you have other family members that are still alive, but they've got a lot of challenges, you could find yourself with that ache too, scrolling and scrolling, overeating, overworking, oversleeping, keeping yourself so busy that you don't have time to feel the emptiness. But hear me. I realize that numbing, it doesn't kill the pain. You just are having a temporary escape. It just buries the pain deeper, right where you grow roots of resentment and exhaustion and self-neglect. And I have found that we are a culture, we don't like pain. We don't like discomfort. And so many of us just want to numb it, don't want to feel it, don't want to talk about it. And the best thing we can do is to stop avoiding it. Grief needs movement, it needs breath, it needs truth, and you have to feel it to free it. That doesn't mean you drown in it. It means that you wade through it with an intention. When the wave comes, oh my God, when those waves come, instead of reaching for a distraction, step outside. Let the sun hit your face. Write down what you wish you could say to them. Cry without shame. To me, tears are truth leaving the body. Pray, journal, dance. I put on my favorite music. I go for walks. I practice deep breathing so I can release any fantasy or wishing things were different. It's painful, but it's necessary to stop hoping that they're going to suddenly become whole again, or who they were, or who you wish they could be. Allow the feelings. Grief is not a straight line. It is not linear. You may feel fine one day and fall apart the next. And that is not backsliding. That's being a human. You hear me? You're human. And you'll have moments when it's like, okay, I can do this. And the next day, your prayers are just wrapped up in pain. Write a letter that you know you're never going to send. Light a candle, say a prayer, speak blessings over their soul and over your own, because rituals help your brain to accept what your heart is resisting. I want to encourage you to stay connected to safe people, because healing from ambiguous grief requires community and conversation with people who won't shame you for setting boundaries or for you knowing that you need to have some rest. You've got to exhale. These small acts will help your nervous system to remember safety. I want to encourage you to tell your body, I can handle this moment. I am not in danger. I am healing. I release what I can't control. I bless them from afar. I choose peace even in this unknown season. My heart is healing even while it's breaking. I'm not losing faith. I'm learning to surrender. These are just some thoughts that I wanted to share with those that are dealing with ambiguous grief, the kind of grief where there is no closure, where there is distance, where there is confusion, where there is sadness, where there's uncertainty, whether someone cut you off or you cut them off, or someone's health is declining and you want them back. You wonder if they'll remember you. You want to remember. You're holding on to memories, but you're not living in the present reality. I really hope that this helps. It's helping me just to share it with you. I'm Jewel Diamond Taylor. I am a grief counselor. I didn't ask for this assignment. I did not ask for this. But going through grief with so many in my family, my mother, my son, my best friend, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and so many of my friends, it has really conditioned me to not run from the discomfort and the pain of loss. I am human, and you are human. And we cannot afford to shut down our emotions and numb them. I promise you, the more you sit and breathe through your pain, it will get easier.